Hi, my name is Joel, and I'm the Executive Director of the Daphne Zepos Teaching Endowment. We are happy that you're applying to the various DZTE scholarship programs. Each of these applications requires submitting a written vision. Why is this? Well, visions are the roadmap to your destination. They go beyond just being the step-by-step directions, though, and help paint a picture of what you accomplished, learned, and experienced during your journey. Telling the story in the past tense of how you're able to achieve your goals and what you experienced along the way really helps our board of directors see the kind of person we are looking to add to our squad of teachers. What impact did receiving this award have on your life, the people around you, the greater cheese industry? Is this more than a passing interest? So we've crafted this video to help you. First, you're going to see Ari Weinzweig of Zingerman's Community of Businesses share his 3 steps to visioning. Second, you'll have Sam Frank of Bobolink Dairy and Bakehouse help you find your inspiration. Third, Alex Palomo of Rogue Creamery will give you his personal step-by-step process for visioning. And lastly, Mary Casella of Crowne Finished Caves talks about the importance of passion and preparation.
Hi, everybody. It's just gonna take about 3 minutes to talk about 30 years of learning. So obviously there will be more that I could share with you than I can fit into this little condensed version of visioning. But I want to just share a couple of the key highlights as maybe some prep and some priming to help you get going. So with the visioning work, the first thing that I want to suggest is that the hardest part of the process is probably just having the self-discipline to sit down and actually get going. I know far too many people, including many of my good friends, that talk about it for longer than it takes to actually write it. So just take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. I want to reassure you. Sit down and make it happen. So the first step in the recipe is to pick the date and for when you're going to set the vision. So it's important to be able to be specific. I like to put a particular day even just to help me plant my brain in that setting so that I can even call out the weather or whatever particular events help me get my mind into the future state in which I'll be writing the vision. The second thing is just a little bit of a sidestep to get your brain into a positive place, and that would be to do what we call proud. So this is just unrelated really to the vision. It's just sort of loosening your brain up and putting your mental state where you want it to be, is to take literally 2 minutes, 3 if you're feeling really excited, to list things that either you're proud of in your life previously, not tied to the vision, or it could be things that are the emotions that go with those feelings. So it could be you ran a marathon, it could be your marriage, it could be you opened your business, it could be that you picked a good outfit to wear the day you're doing the visioning. It really doesn't need to matter to anybody else, only to you. And then the next step is to actually sit down and start writing. Again, can be harder mentally than it is physically, but you just sit down, you plant your brain on that future date you picked, and you start writing. And one of the keys to doing this well is what we call hot pen, and that means that from the minute you start until the time you stop, and I like to set a time for how long I'm going to write. If it was a big vision, we could do up to 45 minutes. If it's something smaller, it could be 5 or 10, or somewhere in the middle, as you choose, is to just keep writing for that entire time. It's critical to keep writing because the best stuff often comes out when you think you're stumped, and pausing to think about it sort of defeats the purpose. So personally, I might swear up a storm. Other people might write the Lord's Prayer. You could write the starting lineup of your favorite baseball team. It really doesn't matter, but the key is your pen or your fingers, if you're typing, need to keep moving through the whole thing. There's way more on this in all of the business books that I've written, which are at zingtrain.com. And you can also email me if you have questions. It's just ari@zingermans.com. Thank you. Good luck. You'll be great.
When you sit down to write your vision in the context of applying for the Daphne Zepos Teaching Award or the Daphne Zepos Research Award, it's really important that you strike a balance between inspiration and practicality. Clearly, you want to pick a topic that's super interesting to you, that's inspirational, that you feel really, really passionate about. And it should really carry through in your vision so that whoever's reading it will be like, wow, this is super awesome. I want to see this happen. And at the same time, you want them to think you are the best person to do it. So really show that you are the person to carry out this vision. Make it something that's actually executable. Don't do something that's so far-fetched that it's going to be hard to believe that you or really anyone could carry it out. You want it to be inspiring, but you want it to be practical. And then another important aspect of it is to make sure you pick a topic that's bigger than you. Obviously, again, you want to be very interested and passionate about your topic, but how does it have a bigger impact on the cheese industry at large beyond your own personal interest? Make sure it's a topic that's bigger than you, that's inspirational, and that it's practical. Now, all that being said, a lot happens once you've received the award, and more likely than not, you'll get a lot of people reaching out to you, suggesting connections that you never even thought of or knew about before. So make sure your vision is also a little bit flexible. You know, you can't predict the future, so you're just writing basically a guide for how you're going to pursue this topic. You know, the plans change, logistics change, things can change for a whole variety of reasons, and that's okay. In my personal case, I wrote a vision about heritage breeds, and I discussed going to Italy and France to research my topic. I didn't even go to France. Because of logistical reasons and because of new connections I made after I received the award, I went to a bunch of other countries, but not France. And that was okay because I was still pursuing the topic of heritage breeds. So don't box yourself in too much with your vision. Make sure it's a broad enough topic that you can be flexible with, that you can make changes if you need to. And don't worry about executing it word for word. No one's holding you to it. We just want to see you pursue your vision and your topic in the best way possible. And if that means you have to change where you're going or who you're talking to, no problem. We love to see it.
When I'm in the visioning zone, I like to give myself allotted amounts of time and block everything off from getting distracted. When I'm visioning, I want to be able to just brain dump everything all at once as quickly and as fast as possible to just get it out of my head. The more it sits in my head, the more I think about it, the more it drives me crazy, the more anxiety I have. But to get it all out there on paper, on a tablet, you're able to see everything that you're thinking about and kind of organize your thoughts a little bit more. To do this, I may take an hour today, I may take an hour tomorrow. I don't measure that though. I just take as much time as I need. That's one thing I definitely recommend, is taking as much time as you need. Don't overload yourself. Don't do it all at once. Definitely take times throughout the day, times throughout the week, throughout the month, to allow yourself to be creative, to download everything, and to think about your vision, think about your goals, and just have the time to really get passionate and really get intentional with what you're looking at and mapping it out in your vision. And when the time comes that you're going to sit down and you're going to write everything out, or you're going to type everything out, one thing I like to do is close my eyes, take some deep breaths, just think about what's in your gut, what's in your heart, and kind of go from there. Take a little bit of moment to center yourself. Visioning doesn't have to be a big thing where you go to the Oregon wilderness and you live with the wolves and you have an epiphany. It doesn't have to be like that. It can just be a time of seclusion in your office, like me. It could be going to the coffee shop. It's something that what's going to work best for you, and going from there. Closing your eyes, I think, allows you to center yourself and kind of get the juices flowing, get a little bit of anxiety out, and just understand that this is for you. This is the way that you're going to be able to get a big dream out there and just be able to complete it. And you always want to be thinking big. The bigger the better, and we can work backward from that. So as you're typing everything out or writing everything out, I would definitely go big or go home and just write it all out. And when you're writing everything, go big or go home, like I've been saying, but you should also just write like there's no tomorrow. Get all of those ideas, get all of those goals and all of those cool things you want to be doing, and get it out. Doesn't matter if it makes sense, we're just brain dumping here. So you brain dump, take some time, you could read it over. Maybe it's mumbo jumbo, maybe it doesn't make sense, and that's all right. Because what you're gonna do is get it all out and then walk away. Or walk away, take some time, go to sleep, take a couple days, go get a drink, but the idea is you're going to come back to it. You're going to come back to it with a fresh pair of eyes and be able to see your thoughts and have a better clarity of how you want to organize things. Maybe the idea is over here, are going to go really well over here, and you put them together. Or maybe you figure out that the vision you had in mind doesn't really resonate with you, but you find that through all the thoughts you had brain dumped, and you can kind of figure out what's really going to be your focus, what's really the passion, the drive of your vision, and it can change, and that's all right. I like to recommend using sticky notes, again, visual cues. I've done poster boards, huge fan of these. Writing, using Word documents, anything to really just dump it all out there, and you can always come back to it. And when you go through your revisions, you go through your brain dumps, don't forget, tell people. Share your vision, share the story of how you're visioning, tell them your goals, tell them what you want to accomplish, and create excitement with them, create a support system with them. You're holding yourself accountable by telling them, because they're going to ask about it later. They're going to want to see you succeed and be all that you can be. It's a little generic and typical phrase to say, but it's true. The visioning is a beautiful process, and to share that and to share your dreams with people, it's going to be a really positive momentum to keep you on the track and focus on your vision and what you want out of it.
I think my first piece of advice would be that you should feel absolutely passionately about what it is that you want to research. It sounds obvious, but I think if you're so passionate about this project that you absolutely have to see it through, then a lot of things are going to fall together naturally. I, for instance, had kind of already started researching just for myself before I applied. And I'm not saying you have to do that. That's not the point of this. You don't necessarily have to have research already going. But just more that you should really, really be passionate about the thing that you want to do. Not just kind of, oh, this is cool, but really truly believe that it's something that others should know, and something that you really want to share with the rest of the community. Once you have that going for you, there are some practical steps that I took when I was applying. I looked at all the questions on the application, and I made sure that I was able to answer each one of those questions individually. So, what is it that you want to research? The how of your research, what can you see along the way yourself doing to gather the information that you need? The end result, what is it going to be? And then who is it for? And again, I think when you're passionate about these things, they should come along pretty easily. And to counterbalance the passion, I think you also need to be realistic. That's been really important for me, is keeping realistic goals for myself. It can be kind of easy to think in the future and have these really lofty, incredible goals, and that's wonderful. But I think it's more encouraging if you have just a solid, realistic goal for yourself. It definitely instills more confidence, I think, both in yourself and in others, in your ability to achieve what it is that you want to do. And then, once you can answer all those questions in the application, you can bring them all together. And I think the important thing of bringing all of those questions together and answers together is the language that you use, and making sure that you're bringing that passion again and really using inspiring language that will make others feel as passionately as you are about the subject and want to support you in creating your body of work. I think that's kind of all I have about my advice on visioning. Back to the realistic goals for yourself, that's definitely something that I continue to try and keep in check for myself. There's a lot out there to research, but it can't all happen at once. And I think, have all others read your work. That's really important, really helpful. especially when you think about who it is that you want this work to be for and making sure that it's going to be approachable for the audience that you have in mind. But I think that's all I can think about in terms of what has helped me in my process of envisioning. I guess actually, lastly, what drives me right now and during this research, what keeps me going, even when I feel overwhelmed, is the fact that I'm so excited to share this work with others. And when I was writing my vision, I really could see myself presenting this work to a specific group of people in a specific place. And again, I think if you can do that, then it's almost as if you're already started, if you can see that end line naturally. I think it just all goes back to passion. I hope that's helpful.
We hope these expert tips help you find your vision and bring it to life. We cannot wait to see your submission and sharing your vision with you.